Okay, it is May 2nd, and we are doing a lot of garden work. Everything that you see behind me is the garden, and we've done a lot of work sowing here recently, and amending and planting. So I thought at the very beginning of the season I would just kind of look at how things are doing, and we can compare later in the season how far we've come. Okay, so I guess the only appropriate place to start is at this beautiful new arbor. This is a cedar arbor. Somebody actually got married underneath it, and I bought it from them, and I sealed it with water locks twice. So we're hoping for the best, and we have it rebarred into the ground with cement posts. So this is probably the biggest addition to the garden. And we have like a little gate that is temporarily attached right here. Now, as you can see, we still have the rabbit fencing with the garden posts in the garden right now, and they're on there with zip ties. And the long-term plan is a more permanent fence. So for now, we have 4x4s anchoring this arbor so that nothing can bring it down. But once you come in, we have some lovely David Austin roses, and I'm very excited about these. This one, oh, who are you? Oh, here it is, Crown Princess Margareta. Now, I have this little bucket. This is what they came in. I have this leaning here to encourage this little vine to keep growing upwards so that I can eventually have it climb this side. But this is a beautiful peachy orange rose, and they each get about 10 to 12 feet long if my memory serves me correct. I don't even need to look at the name of this because I love the name. It's the Generous Gardener. And this one is quite a bit taller than its neighbor over there. And this one will have a beautiful blush pink bloom. And now I'll just take you to the food garden, is kind of what we've called it. Over here in this corner, this is a Costco rose. This is our first lovely little bloom, and it is gorgeous. Now we have several more buds here on the side. But starting right here, as you can see by my sign, this is our onion. So all the green that you see here is onion, and I'm doing it in mulch. My goal this year was to try my hand at root vegetables in mulch. Now, this is only my first full year with this garden. Last year I planted in this soil, but the mulch was very fresh. So this is the mulch breaking down after 1 year. I have some sugar snap peas that are going to climb this little trellis. We like them, but we don't eat a terrible large amount, so I have that there. And then back here we have this little spread of garlic, which seems to again be doing very happy right now. Can't see below, so you're just hoping for the best. And then I have a little potato ditch right here, and those are looking marvelous. Now this row right here is all bell peppers, and this is recycled goat fencing. But yep, I have this whole row of bell peppers, and then here I have tomatoes. Now I have Better Boy and Super Sweet 100 planted. For every T-post you see, you have, I call them slicers and poppers. So the Better Boy is the slicer, grape tomatoes are the poppers, but I have those planted here, and then between each one is a nasturtium, which I just planted those the other day. So we don't see those yet, but they go all the way back. And in this little section right here, we have some friends coming up. This is my squash patch right here, and then back there is my zucchini, and I have some nasturtium planted in those as well. Now here we have pole beans, and I went with Baker Creek this year, but again, kind of doing the same idea with the tomato plants over there. For every T-post you see, there's 2 varieties on each side. One is like a very purpley bean, I can't remember the name, and the other one is rattlesnake, if I'm not mistaken. And then again, I have nasturtium planted in between. Now, I did not get to lettuce and arugula. I was going to do little ditches here of those, but alas, it is too late and too warm. But this is the ugly side of the garden. I have so many weeds, so much grass. There's like a maple tree growing right there. This is embarrassing, but it is what it is, and we're working with it. But I have watermelon planted in various spots up here that I just started. But one thing that I'm super excited about this year is loofah. I'm going to have loofah absolutely cover this whole fence line. I have 2 little planters right here. There are cut flowers in here. I honestly do not remember what varieties I planted, but then there's also some lavender as well, I believe. And these bricks are here because eventually we're going to make this a flat brick pad, and there will be a church pew here, and we are trying our best to completely like waterproof it, and it'll be under the shade right here. And the church pew came from the church that Dylan and I both got baptized in and were engaged in. But I can sit right here in this shady little corner, see the whole garden, see my kids play right over there probably. But then I'll take you to this side of the food garden. I love these cattle panel trellises, and in every single one, I'm just gonna walk right here because they're all cucumbers and they're coming up. You can see our little friends popping their happy little heads out right now. And all 4 are planted. There's 4 different varieties, but it would be a miracle if I could remember the name. Now these blueberry bushes, look at these things. This is their first year in my soil, but they are happy, 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 and I should get something out of them this year. Let's see. These are Brightwell varieties. So I have 6, and then a neighbor of mine said, dig up these strawberry plants. Oh my gosh. No way! Hello, little berry. How are you? So that's exciting. And then I have 2 blackberry bushes over there. But the cool part about it is my same wonderful neighbor who gave me these 2 strawberry plants also gave me the flowers up there on that mound. Golly, now that I'm saying it, what is it? Iris. Thank you. And then my dad gave me 18 blackberry bush plants. So 2 are right over there. But then we planted several along this tree line, and then where my fence hops back down there along that fence line as well. So this is my food garden, and my goal with a food garden is to obviously grow food and have it, you know, be a provision for our family. But my goal is that I don't buy it for a year if I grow it. That does not apply to herbs and like fresh cut greens like lettuce, which I didn't do well on. But so can enough tomatoes, salsa, pickles to last us a year, which I did last year and haven't run out yet. And freeze squash and green beans, which again I did that last year and we haven't run out yet, to make it a year. Now, like I said, I'm trying root vegetables, so the hope is that this year I can add onions, garlic, potatoes, and then later on in like the fall season, beets and carrots into that mix. But now let's take a look at the flowers, which are going to feed the bees, which the bees are new this year too. All right, so right there is a top bar beehive that my dad actually built and gave to me, and I caught a swarm of bees. I had a neighbor call me and tell me that there was a swarm in someone's yard, and I asked them if I could catch it, and they were very happy for me to do just that. So I caught a swarm of bees, and we have a beehive, and I am absolutely certain that the garden is just going to come alive all the more because of the bees. And then in a year we should be looking at harvesting honey. But with that being said, this entire space behind me is now a flower garden. So over here we've always had the food garden, and then this kind of was like a bed with this beautiful tree, and then it turned to grass, but it was kind of an awkward spot to mow for my husband, and it just made sense. I utilize so much of the garden space, and this was a great way to continue that. And I love flowers. I am known for making yard bouquets, which is just me walking around and finding anything that blooms, and pretty weeds count. So we decided to turn this whole space into kind of our flower garden. So let's take a look at what we've got going on. All right, this beautiful herb pyramid is something that my father-in-law built, and my husband and I have moved it to all 3 of the homes that we have lived in, and God willing, this is our last home. We've said that this is just where we're putting our roots and where we would like to stay. So this mint, these are my daughter's sunglasses, so great addition here. But this mint has been in this planter since we got it. What are you? Oh yes, I finished sowing these. This is amaranth. I'll show you. It's right over there. But in here we have mint, and I try to contain it to like these 2 pods. I haven't decided what I want to grow down here yet. I planted some basil down here, and we've got some little guys popping up. This smells so good. I honestly don't remember what I put up here. I think it's nasturtiums. I did this just the other day, so I know I put something there. I don't remember what it is, but this is a huge green onion, and I am not an expert on these guys. I clearly cut it the other day and harvested some, but hopefully I didn't totally mess this one up. Super big though. And then we've got some lovely rosemary right here, but I don't know if I pointed it out, right there is a rosemary bush. So this one has been in the herb pyramid, and then this was sage, which I recently took out. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here. Honestly, I need to get some cilantro and some parsley going. So I think that's what I'm going to do with these 2 rows. Okay, let's look at this sage. This was in that one little spot right there in the herb pyramid, but I took it out because it was just so big, and I planted it in the ground. I mean, I'm gonna try to put my hand up here. Look how massive this is, but it's beautiful and it's flowering, and even if I don't eat it at all, I think it looks beautiful, but I do dry it. So that's nice. Okay, let's just start at the top. When you come up here, I have a peony right here and here. They're both pink, if I'm not mistaken. And then right here, I have cut flowers. Now, what I did, and you'll see these little like holes and divots all over the mulch over here. What I did is I took a bunch of cut flower seeds, and I have no space to do seeds starting right now. With my kids, I just don't have any place that gets a good amount of sunlight that I could leave them where my children wouldn't get to them. So I did not seed start any of my flower seeds, but what I did is I took several seed packets and I dumped them in a pail and kind of mixed them up, and then I'm gonna call them flower bombs. I just flower bombed different places in this flower garden. So what we have here, as you can see, there's hollyhock coming up for sure. But some of the flowers that I had in here was delphinium. I did nasturtiums on their own. Those have sprouted. These have not. Don't know why. Maybe that's a dud. But hollyhock, delphinium, zinnia, dahlia. Golly, I can't remember now, but that's just a few that I can name. Again, there's one coming up here. But basically, this herb pyramid is kind of like the center point of the flower garden, and like all surrounding it, I've just planted stuff back here. So that's really pretty. Over here under this tree, I have a hosta, and then like a little itty bitty teeny tiny one right there. Now you can't really see much, but there's a stick poking out of the ground right there. And all the way from there to here, I planted mammoth sunflowers. Part of why I'm filming this is because, look, there's a little guy. There's a little guy. They're poking up everywhere. Boom. They're just, yeah, they're coming up, which is really reassuring and really nice. Our chickens and our goats eat sunflowers, so it makes sense, and they're just downright gorgeous. So why not? I wanted like a whole field, mini field of sunflowers right here, but I am going to succession sow them, so it kind of stops right there. Later I am going to plant more way back there and way up this way, but I'm leaving myself room. So I have those over there. Now over here, I still have my soil bag out. This is the amaranth. There's 4 little amaranth spots, and I've never actually grown amaranth before, so we will see how it does. I like to get all the leaves off of it so that my little seedlings have as much room as they need to pop up out of the soil. So I planted amaranth here. Hopefully that'll be really productive. And then I did flower bombs. Okay, maybe I should get a shot like this. I did flower bombs along this entire wall. At the very edge of the wall, you can see little holes here and there. I did flower bombs. It's the same flowers that are in the other one, the other varieties. What am I saying? It's the same varieties of the other spots that I showed you, but the hollyhock did not pop up on these. Now, they were planted on different days, and I want to say that the nursery or company that I got those seed packets from were the same. Now, we see something popping up here. I'm not exactly sure what those are. Obviously, I have grass trying to like make its way through on the edges. I don't know exactly what that is, but it's definitely not hollyhock. Those are pretty distinct. But we have buds poking up. I may try to replant these because they're not doing as abundant as I would like them to. But another addition is gladiolus bulbs. So you can kind of see a little divot here, a little divot here, a little divot here. So I have cut flower bombs right against the wall, and then I did another row behind it of gladiolus bulbs coming this way. So, oh, that's a pretty decent bed. See, what I'm thinking is that's just one variety of flower. I may not get an array of flowers like I had in my head. I was thinking that if I planted them like this, I would have like 5 different varieties of beautiful flowers just pop up together in the same space. That may not happen, but that's okay. It's all an experiment. This is my first year in this soil for the flowers, and I have a couple more gladiolus bulbs here. So I have plenty of room right here. I could do another little sunflower patch. But I also think that this space way over there in the back would be good for pumpkins if I decided I wanted to bring the sunflowers closer to the front. But the idea of this was to just continue the garden. As you can see, I need to finish the rabbit fence there and then add a string up into the fence line right there. You can kind of see blackberry bushes up along the fence over there. But the idea was, there's the trash trailer, excuse that. At least you can't smell it through the screen. We are almost done flipping this pool house. It's a blessing, but it has been a financial burden. And once it's done, then we get to just be blessed by it. But the idea is that when we're sitting at the pool relaxing, we would see the garden was always so beautiful to like look and see green and, you know, these beautiful giant red tomatoes popping up everywhere. That was always so lovely to look at. But the idea is now that we have this huge bed that will be hopefully full of flowers front and center as well. So this is the beginning of May 2021. I'm hoping that by the time we get well into summer, we will have just a flourishing green and rainbow garden and flower garden. And I'll leave it with the happiest thing. This little rose poked through today, so happy to see that. Anyways, documenting it. I want to be able to look back years from now and see kind of how things started and different goals that I met or goals that I didn't meet. But this is just the beginning of this season, and I'm excited to see how things go. Okay, I couldn't end it there. This is on the side of our house, and I transplanted all these hydrangea bushes from my sister-in-law's house. I have no idea what color they will be. This is her first year in her house, so she has not seen them bloom either, but they were planted quite close together where she was, and she wanted them spaced out and didn't have that much space for them. And hydrangeas are my favorite, one of my favorites. I really can't even tell you if I have a favorite, but they were our wedding flower, so I had to show you these. And I have no idea what color they're going to be. White, pink, blue, I don't know. Blue was our wedding flower color, so I had to show these. Now, last year there was a hydrangea like literally right there next to that tree, and I found it and we transplanted it, and it is over there next to my hammock, and it is about to bloom as well. So that's another change we made, and I am looking forward to seeing these guys get really nice and big.